So dealing with that tracking problem, well, how do I fix that? Well, I have to go in the queue and tell it what to not do. So basically, so I can, those are fixtures 11 through 18, and I have to specifically tell it. I'm kind of glad this has happened because I wanted this to show you this. So I have to specifically say open. I want this to be open, and I want this to be open. I want it to all be white, or no color is probably a more accurate term. Theater guys would, kill me for saying that. I'm in my Q Master 7 like I want, and I want to hit record Q. Remember, I want to edit the first one, so I'm going to hit Q1, enter. It's going to think for a second, and this window is going to pop back up, and I want to merge. And now I can hit clear, and nothing changed because that's the Q I'm looking at. Well, how do I go, other than hitting play, how do I go back between these twos? And this is where, like that crossover feature comes into play. Here's more tracking problems. These guys aren't going down like I told them to because I never set a perimeter value for that, if you remember. Let's do that, in fact. Um, let's see. Those are fixtures 11 through 18. I really need to show you guys grouping at some point. Let's see. To make that a little quicker. Down this way. No, there it is. Here we go. That's what I wanted originally. And let's see, I want to hit, that's on master 6, so I hit that. Record, Q1, enter. Like I said, I'm glad this has happened. Kind of glad this has happened because I can at least show you, tracking in real time and how it can be a problem, how you can fix it, and how you can deal with it. Hit the clear button. The clear button's clear. Remember, if there's stuff in the programmer, that's going to be red. Probably should have said that a long time ago, but now you know. So now it's clear. Now I'm going to hit play on this guy. Now how do I crossfade these two seamlessly? This is really cool. This is one of my favorite parts about the hog. Let's see. Or 7 and 8. Okay, just making sure I'm on the right. You go to options. Now here's, remember we were messing with this. We want to let's go to masters here, and you notice that that is the correlating buttons on the master. So what this could mean is that I can drop down that, and that's the fader, and I can just say, hey, intensity IPCB crossfade. What that means is intensity, position, color, beam, IPCB. Select that, and what that's going to do, it's going to turn that fader into not just an intensity, but it'll basically turn it into where it changes the value for all features within that fixture. So I can hit close, or actually, to make this really quick, I can show you a shortcut here. I can select, then I can go through here and notice that this stays open as I'm selecting between the two different masters here. It actually hops it for you. So switch that to intensity, position, cross, color, beam, fade as well. It's kind of a tongue twister if you say it quickly. Close this out if you want, if you wish. And this is where the fun starts to happen. I'm on this cue list right now, so that fader is not going to do much, but watch this. I happen to notice that the other one kicked in. Well, I can actually remove them both. Now, you saw how, like, you get kind of this problem after a while with this crossfade, where it releases as these fixtures are being utilized by the other cue list. It starts to release stuff. It starts to do funky little things. There's a get around to that. Double click the master, hit options, and then you can go to, and then, so I can go back to cue list under those cue list options here. Options, cue list. I can hit persist on override. So that means if another cue list overrides a feature from a certain fixture, it'll just chill out in the background. So that way when I pull that cue list or that cue back, it'll come right back into place the way I want it to. And in fact, I'm going to hit choose on this guy. I'm going to go on this guy as well and say persist on override, so that way we won't lose that cue. And this creates a really cool crossfade between these two guys. So yeah, there we go. So, it's kind of like the dramatic ending. It's kind of funny about this. You notice how I had it's best to do crossfades with moving both masters at the same time, because there's that tracking capabilities will track in from one to the other, and if you miss something, it'll track down. For example, if you notice that I have the beam wide over here on these side lights on the studio colors, as I move them up, you notice they're still wide, and then as I remove the previous cue list, you notice that it thins out because it tracked down the system. And you can even kind of mix those together a little bit if you want. I mean, if you want to keep it like that, that's cool. But if I wanted that hard impact of the switching the different cues, I can just go, invert them, and I get that in your face impact from the two. Let's see, that's pretty much it as far as the basics of programming these guys. What I need to do is I really need to show you how. Actually, if you watch over here, see how it releases it, but it's chilling out in the background. You see the persist on override, and you'll also see that little symbol right there. It means intensity, position, color, beam, crossfade. That fader is going to control not intensity, but like all the values of the fixture as well. And then of course I still have the intensity over here. So basically, as you see here, this is how you blend cue lists together. Next I'll show you groups. I need to show you that so that way you can program quicker, and palettes. After that, we'll get into scenes, which is a little bit different than cues. Basically the same thing, but they're kind of outside of a cue list. It's the same, but it's not. That's the best way to describe it. And then we'll get into macros. And after we do macros, we'll put it all together, and then we'll start to click on what the heck's going on. I'll show you how to mix all these things together and make it so that way you have an amazing live show for any type of artist that you ever wanted to light for. And then maybe after that, if I can get some free time, I will show you how to do cue list styled concerts, and how I did one of my videos, my Bullet for Butterflies video, how I did that. And hopefully we'll get into a little more advanced, if I can find some time as well, how to move values from one cue to another, from one scene to another, from the palette over to a cue list, how to suck out all live values, how to knock live values in and out, things like that. Things that you'll need as you program to make your programming faster. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for automated fixtures right now. Play with it at home, get to know it. This is probably, if I was you, if you watched all the videos, which I would have been drinking water through a fire hose, I'm sure, I would probably stop here, and I would go through and practice everything you learned so far, get used to it, play with it. I was actually stuck at this level for a while until I learned the next few steps. So I would I really learned a lot in my knowledge at this point. I learned a lot about these cue lists. You really got to get to know how, at this point, how the Hog feels. I'd probably spend, like an hour kind of playing with it, maybe come back tomorrow or the next day after that and watch the rest of the videos, so that way it won't make your head explode. But anyway, that's pretty much it for right now. Come back soon and watch the rest of the videos.